It's time to take command with former NFL tight end Logan Paulson and former Commanders beat reporter Craig Hoffman.
Take 5 time, the 5-minute edition of Take Command, and on Thursdays that means story time. Not a lot of great Washington football stories from New England in recent years. Maybe some good stories, but certainly not ones that are good memories. And that includes perhaps your visit in 2011, Rob Gronkowski's coming out party in New England.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, Rob and I we played in the Pac-10 together. And I didn't know Rob very well, but we were always watching each other's games, and people were always, because I was up for the Mackey for a couple of years, and obviously I wasn't the athlete that he was, but I was always like, oh man, Rob, and everyone was really high on Rob Gronkowski coming out in the draft, but he had a back injury, and I didn't really get it. Obviously he's a physical freak, but he's kind of stiff when he runs, and he didn't in college, he didn't play hard all the time. And that's me probably being a hater a little bit too, coming out. But I remember watching him in that game, and I was on the sideline watching, and he was a second round pick, and this was our second year in the league, and he caught an out, and basically ran over the whole defense for a touchdown. And then we had an all out pressure called. And and in that pressure look, he was the hot route, so he had to shed the linebacker, throw him to the ground, and caught the ball. And Ryan Kerrigan was in coverage, and Ryan Kerrigan at the time, this was his rookie year, was maybe one of the strongest people that I've ever been around. In the weight room, just insanely strong, and going up against him every day in practice, just a unit. And he said, I remember he tried to tackle him, and Rob just kind of kept running and little giants him all the way into the end zone. And I remember thinking Ryan, what the heck was that? He's like, I've just never felt a human being that strong before in my life. His legs felt like pistons as I tried to run away. And I remember thinking damn, he's going to be a baller. Rob, after that game, just seeing him in person, and he'd been playing well that year, but seeing it in person, talking to guys who had played against them. And you're wow, that's going to be tough. But the funny story about that game is I remember that was when Vince Wilfork was really playing well at nose, just a problem. And Kyle was we can't deal with this guy on a down basis. I think I might've told you this story before.
I've heard this story before.
And so in the week, he's we got our first 25 or first 15, whatever it was. And every play was a personnel switch. It was from 12 to 11 to 20. And they would always take him out in the lighter personnel groupings because they wanted better pass rushers on the field. And Kyle and we were all kind of that's weird. That's a lot of, personnel switches and changes or whatever. And Kyle in the meeting is yeah, I just want to get him as tired as humanly possible. I just want his big ass to be running from the football to the sideline, have to come back to the football, run back to the sideline. I just thought that was the funny, even now I think it's hilarious that that's how good he was, that you needed to think of all these creative ways to deal with him as a player. But I thought that was pretty funny. So it was the Vince Wilfork conditioning test day, and it was Rob Gronkowski's coming out party. So
let's see. How did that game wind up?
I think we almost won.
What was the final score? It was 34-27.
Yeah, we were in it.
Close.
I think they won on a last-minute drive, obviously. Tom Brady came down there, did his thing. So
yeah, they came down, scored a TD with 4:37 to go.
Yeah.
A nice little 6-play, 60-yard drive. Wes Welker with that.
Good football player.
Yeah. Sexy Rexy was starting quarterback in that game for you guys.
Did he throw a pick? I'm sure he did.
Probably. He also, Vince Wilfork, ironically, within those first 15 plays, had a fumble recovery in the end zone.
In the end zone. Gosh, I don't remember. I remember that was the Roy Halou, Evan Royster at running back game. And I think they both had really good games. And just
pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah. Solid outing. We were kind of patchwork together at that point.
2 touchdowns and a pick. Brandon Banks threw
he threw a reverse touchdown.
Yeah, for a nice 49-yard. There you go. There's your 2011.
We at right tackle, we had a undrafted rookie tackle starting. And this was a little bit of inside baseball. The coach wanted to rotate him with a veteran guy that had been there. And the veteran basically was like, no. And so this poor rookie in his first outing, barely knew the playbook and started the whole game against the New England Patriots. So tough deal.
Fun times. I just remember going there for a preseason game, my one and only trip to New England, and being like, oh, wow, they really have New England clam chowder in the press box.
Was
so
it
I
good?
was like, yeah, it actually was pretty good. Back in the days before I knew I was lactose intolerant, so I had it.
Are you like violently lactose intolerant, or are you like?
It's I don't know. It's weird. It's not great.
Not great.
I tried to avoid it.
Did Fred smooch? I don't know how much you talked to Fred. Fred is lactose intolerant now, apparently, and like he just kind of came out in his older age that he's lactose intolerant. But and I always think of lactose intolerance. You have like GI issues, whatever it is.
I don't know how much you want to talk about this on a podcast.
He had like a full like fish, like his face swelled up when he drank.
Oh no,
milk.
that's different. That's like an allergy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it wasn't.
No, mine is an intolerance. It's not a good intolerance.
But he was saying,
but it's
like,
not.
It's
not like we have to take me to the hospital if I accidentally have some butter.
I know, like, so he's like, I'm lactose intolerant, and I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, you go to the bathroom a little bit more, whatever. And he's like, no, like, I was like he couldn't be on the show. His face was so swollen, and I was like, that can't be like a normal milk allergy. Like, you got to go see somebody. He's like, I'll be all right. And I was like, come on, Fred. So, yeah. Different levels, I guess. Levels in this game.
Smoot and I have not had that conversation.
Talk to him about it.
Nor do I really want to. All right. We're going to end this podcast right now. We'll see y'all for the full actual football preview of New England tomorrow. Thanks for watching this clip of Take Command. First, why don't you like it? It lets other people know that it was good, and then they should watch it too. And Logan, we have a new exclusive home for full episodes.
We do. 1067 The Fans YouTube page. Go check it out and please subscribe.
Yeah, do what Logan said.
Do it.
Very, very smart.